Good morning, beauties. I hope you're having an awesome, delicious day. It's been a while since I said that word. Today's video is going to be a little interessante. So, we're going to basically talk about, it's the end of the year, or getting close to the end of the year. Today, as I'm recording the video, is December 24th. Merry Christmas Eve. I love the holidays. Side note, I love the holidays because the holiday season, because people tend to be more happy. People tend to be jollier, and it's nice. It's nice to be around people who are, there's an atmosphere more so of people who are happy. Well, so today's video is going to be a topic in regards to finances and walking. Ooh. Stay tuned. Thank you so much for coming and clicking on this video and watching it to the very end to get all the juicy nuggets that I have to unleash in this entourage. Anyways, so how does walking and finances correlate? Oh, walking, jogging, running. You could, replace the word with jogging or running, whichever is your discipline. Basically, because not everyone runs, not everyone just walks. There are people who do both, or one or the other, or jog. So, there you go. How does these two things tie together? Well, I'm going to give you 4 nuggets as to how these two things tie together. 4 main nuggets. So, nugget number 1. Walking, jogging, or running and finances, they equally take discipline. You see, when we are getting up, especially if you start a daily habit or routine of getting up to go walk, run, or jog, especially if you do it first thing in the morning, that's probably the hardest. Also, right after work as well is also difficult because you're drained. You just finished work, however long you worked, it doesn't matter what job you work, you're drained, okay? Even being a mom, as a stay-at-home mom, that's hard work. That's multiple jobs in itself. So, it doesn't matter what is what. It takes discipline. Finances also takes discipline. I think a lot of us tend to think that when we hear the phrase living paycheck to paycheck, we oftentimes think of people who are living poorly, people who don't have as much money or who can barely afford their bills, blah, blah, blah. In essence, though, living paycheck to paycheck can very well be experienced by those who earn 6-figure incomes. You may think I'm crazy. I am not crazy, unfortunately. There are lots of people who live above their means, and that's the problem. If you live above your means, then you will see that you're living paycheck to paycheck because you realize that you're not capable of meeting your living expenses when you live above your means. So walking, jogging, or running and finances takes discipline. It takes a lot of discipline to not buy things you don't need. And that can fall into a lot of things. We tend to keep these types of sins silent, pride, greed, gluttony. We tend to keep those silent sins because a lot of us kind of accepted it as a society, but it's not right. Again, on the contrary, you finally were able to afford a wonderful family vacation for 4 days. That's not gluttony, okay? That's not greed. That's not pridefulness, okay? So you gotta be careful with the word because just like the word Christianity, pride, greed, and gluttony gets thrown away and thrown around and so watered down now, we have no idea what it really actually means or the root cause of it. You see, just like the infamous Bible verse that says one thing, but everyone says the other. Oh, money's the root of all evil. It's not the root of all evil. The love of money is the root of all evil. The love of money. Because why is that the root of all evil? Well, if money becomes your motivator, it becomes your idol. It gives you, it brings on greed and pride. Then you become lustful. All these things. It's the root. The love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. This is plain and simple. Not money itself, the love of it. Anywho, so go to nugget number 1. It takes discipline. It takes discipline to save and budget. It takes discipline to not overspend. It takes discipline in your finances to try to get out of debt. And that's just the name of the game. It takes discipline to walk, jog, or run. I love running. It takes discipline because there are days, I will be honest with you, there are days I just don't feel like running. I really just don't feel like it. I go out, take one step at a time, put one foot in front of the other, and bada bing, bada boom, and start running. Hey, there you go. Same thing with finances, same thing with anything else that takes discipline. Anything worthwhile requires hard work and discipline. Alright, so golden nugget number 2. How do finances and walking, jogging, running correlate together? Well, they take patience. You see, you don't get rich quickly. But when you put your money in a savings vehicle, then you have to give it time to compound interest. See, there's this thing called the rule of 72. The rule of 72 states, gives you kind of a very simplistic viewpoint of insight as to how long you may take your money to double. So, at a given interest that you're accruing. So, for example, if you're accruing, let's not even go with the bank savings account because that's usually 1% or less. Banks have CDs, but there's annuities, there's IRAs, Roth IRAs. There's so many better types of investment vehicles that can compound on average about 10 to 12% interest, which is amazing. That's over 100% interest growth than just a savings account. That's probably even more than 100%. Honestly, probably close to 1,000% because of how little you get in a savings account in the bank. I digress. Anyway, so it takes patience. When you say you have a savings vehicle that gives you 12% on average interest. Well, the rule 72 will tell you that it would take you 6 years to see your money double. So, if you invested $20,000 into this vehicle and it's averaging 12%, then hypothetically speaking, you may be able to see your money grow from 20 to 40 in 6 years. And then in 12 years, on the 12th year, you now have $80,000. So you invested 20. Now in 12 years, you have $80,000. Oh, but in 24 years, how much money do you have? You have $320,000, not $160,000, $320,000. Anywho, so it takes time. So even if you started today and you average 12% return, doesn't matter how old you are. You could be 20, you could be in your 20s, you could be in your 30s, 40s, or 60s, or 50s. I mean, say you're in your 40s and you start today, better late than never, right? So you start today, you average 12%, you've started with the $20,000 as a hypothetical situation. Then by the time you say you're 41, by the time you're 65, you have about 300 grand. Bada bing, bada boom. You can invest in real estate. You can invest in a lot of different things, but it takes time. You see, some people may go into day trading and think they can do it, but then they turn into gambling because, you know, the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. You turn into gambling. You take chances, and you're like, oh well, let me just buy here, sell here. This stock goes up. It takes patience. It takes patience. So that's golden nugget number 2, is that both finances and walking, running, or jogging takes patience, because again, you're not going to be able to get up like from never walking before to running a marathon the next day. It takes time. I mean, obviously, you technically could, but you will get a lot of injuries because your body's just not used to it. It takes time. third golden nugget is it requires strength. See, or will. Let's say that, willpower. So willpower gets you through, keeps you going. Motivation, determination, that's great. It can start you. But willpower keeps you going. Because let me tell you something. Unless you're like 10 years old, obviously by now you kind of realize that life gets a little crazy. Things start falling apart at times, and that's okay. It's life. So willpower would get you through those hurdles. You know, it's fun to watch. I'm not sure if you ever watched any type of running events, but you watch like a steeplechase or the 110-meter hurdle, 400-meter hurdle. It's crazy. It's very rare. Or 300-meter hurdle, sorry. It's very rare, but it's crazy. But you watch a hurdle event or a steeplechase. Oh my goodness. You're constantly jumping over hurdles and you're getting tired. Lactic acid is building up. You're running so fast. You're running so far, but you have to still have explosive power enough to jump over something. Isn't that crazy? And then properly land to rebound and keep going. That's willpower. See, with finances, you may start seeing growth, but again, you may have a good savings vehicle, investment vehicle that's averaging 12%, hypothetically speaking. But guess what? That's an average, because sometimes, some moments it may go down to 6%. Some moments it may go up to 15%. It's an average, meaning you're going to have highs and lows. It's like walking, running, jogging. If you don't take care of yourself also, you're going to have highs and lows. You're going to have days where you are overdoing it and you're not resting enough. You're going to have days where you're underdoing it. You're like, I've been a little lazy. Like days ago with my little walking and running and jogging. So it takes sheer willpower to keep you going. Because maybe, especially with finances, say you're saving $100 a month. That's all you can do right now. Something frees up, you got some debt stacking going on, which is a great concept to get rid of debt, by the way, and not waste all your money on interest, which is a topic for another day. Let me know if you want to know more about that. But anywho, you have, say you're freeing up more money, and now you have suddenly have $400 extra to a month. So instead of, what are you going to do? Are you going to take part of that $400 and put it into the investment? So now instead of investing $100, you're investing $300, $250, $350, $400. Or you keep investing as a $100 and just waste the $400 and get back in debt. So it takes willpower going into the direction and reach the goal that you're trying to reach and attain. The fourth golden nugget is that it takes knowledge. See, finances and running, walking, jogging takes knowledge, because without, I kind of alluded to this already, but without knowledge, proper knowledge, you won't be able to invest your money properly to the point of being able to save it. You won't be able to use your money wisely to the point of being able to get yourself out of debt, get others out of debt. You know, being prosperous isn't just about storing up money, more money for yourself because you don't know what to do with it. Being prosperous is living freely and free from the slavery of debt, and then also helping other people live freely from the slavery of debt as well. I'm not sure if you realize that, but that's kind of what we're kind of called to do, help one another out in a sense. To live freely from the slavery of death. All too much do we go into this instant gratification. Oh, I want it now, I want this now, and then get a rack of debt upon debt on our heads. And you feel this weight and burden. You're working just to pay debt. You're working just to pay for a house that you don't own. You're working to pay for a car you don't own. Those things can be taken away from your heartbeat if you miss a payment. You don't own it. It can be taken. Knowledge, when it comes to walking, running, jogging, you have to know, you know, what shoes to wear. Obviously, not go wear heels to do that. You're not gonna wear Converses. I mean, you're gonna wear proper running walking shoes. Ideally, you'd want, you know, something that is a low millimeter drop of heel to toe ratio. So meaning your foot is nice and flat. It's not like crooked like that. I've just seen diagrams of a lot of popular running shoes. Ideally, you don't want your toes to be scrunched up. You want them to have free space when you're stepping down on the ground. Knowledge is key when it comes to these things. So, the 4 golden nuggets that how finances, walking, running, jogging correlate to one another. They both require discipline. They both require patience. They both require willpower. They both require knowledge. And a bonus, they both will get you going if you just start. You see, it is imperative to just start. When it comes to anything in life, just start. Okay? If you're trying to make new habits, build better habits, just start. You see, when you're rewiring your body physically to do something that you haven't been doing, but in a healthy way, for example, running, walking, or jogging, and you haven't been doing that at all, you are physically rewiring your brain. When you dive into different disciplines that require, or different habits that require discipline, you are rewiring your brain for the better. You're strengthening your brain connections. There are neuron connections. You're strengthening those myelinated neurons. You're adding, it's called neuroplasticity. You're adding different connections and pathways with different neurons and strengthening some, breaking others. And it's a beautiful thing. It's just like how your muscles work. You tear your muscle fibers down just to build them back up at rest. And then you get stronger. Same thing with your brain. Add in habits of discipline and you will see that it is a beautiful thing to just start. Well, hope you guys have a beautiful day. Enjoy your Merry Christmas if you see this before Christmas, and or even if you see it after. And you guys take care, and always remember, God is good all the time, and all the time God is good. Love making these videos like this, so let me know if you want me to make more videos, similar concept or different concept. Just let me know. Hope you have a beautiful day. See you soon. Bye-bye.